Today we'll try to continue where we left last time. However, before we go into this, I'd like to point out some things which we must remember always, because these are the principles, the Siddhant. These are as following. We have talked about them before also, but I like to repeat often so we don't lose track of them. Number one, there is one God who we call Ishwar, which is the correct name since it has been used by Sri Bhagavan and other avatars. Also because Ishwar means the one who is well-wisher and does best for Jivatma. The best for Jivatma is Uddharan, Uddhar. However, number two, most human worship different deities, Devata, because they do not know much about Ishwar. Sri Bhagavan says that they worship me, but in an indirect way. Because all those Devata are my Shakti, these humans will continue to remain in the cycle of birth and death. That's what the Shaktis does. This cycle is very painful because the process of birth is painful to both mother as well as the child. And the process of death is also very painful experience. The sole purpose of the creation is for Ishwar to manifest in the sansar, give jnana to Jivatma with which he can perform karma for Ishwar. Who are these Jivatma? Is described in chapter 5. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lippite. So, the one whose mind is in control, Vijit Atma, and is not in control of his senses, because he has conquered the senses. Jitendriya, he has conquered his Indriya. Hence the Antakaran Chatushta is pure. And he realizes his Atma as the Atma in all Prani Bhut. And every living being has same Atma as he is God. He is Yoga Yukta. He is what a Karma Yogi is. Kurvan, while he performs karma in the sansar, api, even then, na lipite, he is not attached to it. Meaning, attached to its fruit. In other words, he does everything for Ishwar. Here it is important to know and remember that all this is possible with the Jnana only. You need Shakti, you need power to conquer your senses. And that has to come from the Shakti of Ishwar. So Jnana Shakti is what helps us do that. The same description of Karma Yogi is in chapter 6. Jnana Vigyan Traptatma Kutastho Vijitendriya. Again, Vijitendriya. So, Yukt Ityukch Yogi Samloshtanch Kanchana. That person who is sated or trapt with Jnana, i.e. the knowledge of the Nirgun Brahm, and Vigyan, i.e. the knowledge of manifest divinity, is situated with no vikar. He has no vikar. With his senses totally under his control, Vijitendriya, he is sitting atop his senses. Such yogi is spoken of as yukt, and to him earth, stone, gold, they are all alike. It's all part of dirt, comes from the ground. With all this, he is called Kutastha, meaning he is situated in avidya. He has gone above everything else, and now he is situated in avidya, which Paramatma will take out of him, and then he will get uddhar. When this avidya is removed by Ishwar, only Ishwar can do that, then the jeev attains the moksha. So that is something which we should really remember. To make it simple, to understand, we can say whatever we know, that is what we do. So if one knows about the works of sansar, he will be engaged in its works. When one of such people who is engaged in sansar gets the jnana, he will still perform the work of the sansar, but now he knows the art of doing it. So he can remain unattached. I do hope this will help clarify what we are reading in Gita. So now we continue with the next three shlokas, slok 6, 7 and 8. Having talked about those who worship the Avyakt Akshar, Sri Bhagavan is now telling Arjun about those who worship the Sagun Roop of Ishwar.
ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते.
So we'll take the simple meaning of these shlokas first. Ye tu, those who mai sannyasya, leave into me. Now please note, he's saying into me, not leave to me, leave into me. What they leave into me? Sarvani karmani, all their karma, and matpara, worship me as the supreme goal. Matpara, I am the param. That's what they worship me as supreme goal. And how did they do this? Ananyav yogena, verily with single-minded yoga. Now we have heard this word Ananya Bhakti over and over and over again. So it will keep coming. They see nothing but only me. That's what Ananya Bhakti is. They only worship me and no one else. They don't waver. Mam dhyayant upasate, meaning constantly thinking of me. The Sagun Parameshwar, what they do? Upasate, they do my upasana. So here they are doing the upasana of Sagun Parameshwar, the one which is Vyakt Parameshwar, like Bhagavan Krishna was in front of Arjuna. So here Bhagavan says that on the other hand, those consider me as the supreme goal, leave all their karma into me and constantly thinking of only me, do my bhakti or upasana. The meaning of word upasana means upasan, sit at the feet of the master. Okay? With single-minded bhav. So their bhav in their mind is single, only one bhav, and that is for Paramatma. What I am to them, in next slok,
तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्.
Bhagavan tells Arjun, Parth, Tesham, for those who, those are the people who are doing bhakti of Sagun Paramatma. Api Mai Avishit Chetasam, with their chit constantly engaged in me. Now, please follow chit, not man, chit engaged in me. For such premi bhakt, aham bhavami, I become samuddharta, the one to do their uddhar. Okay? Those who do my upasana, the Sagun Paramatma, I become their agent for uddhar. I do their uddhar. And nachirat, quickly, without any delay. I don't delay. Bhagavan says, I immediately take him out of this sansar. Uddhar. Mrityu sansar sagarat. Deliver them from ocean of birth and death. Mrityu sansar. The sansar is mortal. From this mortal sansar, I take him out. It is like a sagar. Everybody is just going in there, coming. They don't know where they are going. They are just in there. And this sansar is mortal sansar. It will come to an end. It's constantly changing anyway. Such premi bhakt, I speedily take out of the cycle of birth and death. So there is a difference. One was Jnani Bhakt, this is a Premi Bhakt. Therefore, Arjun, in the next sloka, Bhagavan tells him,
मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः.
Man Adhisva. Fix your mind. My, in me. Here again, Bhagavan says, in me. Fix your mind in me. The one is standing in front of you. And Mai ev buddhi niveshaya. Establish your buddhi in me alone. So here Bhagavan is talking about man and buddhi. They are the key components. Urdhva ad. After this, once you have done this, you will nivishasi, live, you will be able to abide in me and me alone, solely in me. Once you put your man and buddhi into me, you will abide mai eva, solely in me. Na sanshaya, he says there is no doubt about it. It's guaranteed. Okay? You can take it to the bank, like they say now. So Bhagavan says this is the way it is. You do this, you will be abiding in me. Shri Bhagavan says to Arjun that therefore you fix your mind in me and establish your buddhi in me alone. This way you will undoubtedly live in me. I am standing in front of you, so do it now. There is nothing higher than this. So, Shri Bhagavan has described the characteristics of Premi Bhakt. He has to make little or no effort. This Premi Bhakt has to make no effort. Huh? Nirayas is called nirayas. Ayas means to make effort. Nira means no effort. Effortlessly he does everything. He doesn't have to work, do anything. Ishwar does everything for him because what he said, I, without delay, speedily, I take him out of the sansar. That means he has to do nothing. However, the jnani has to work. He has to work hard to fix his mind and intellect in Ishwar. Okay? Jnani has to work hard to do what? Fix his mind and buddhi into Ishwar. The one who is standing in front of Sagun Paramatma, Vyakt Paramatma, he doesn't have to do that. He is already in front of him. He gives him the power to do that. So it doesn't take him, and he makes no effort. He automatically, swabhavik, he puts his mind and buddhi into Ishwar. So here Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, can be understood only when we will understand the Jnana of Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar. Because this is not in Gita explanation. We can only understand this very clearly when we understand what Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar has told us. Like the Gyan given by Bhagavan Sri Krishna in Dwapar Yug, Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar, who is Purna Brahma Krishna Avatar in Kali Yuga, gave the same Gyan. He was born in Bharuch, situated at the mouth of Narmada in the 13th century. He went to Maharashtra and gave Gyan in Marathi language there. So all the Gyan which he gave, all the scriptures are in Marathi language, old Marathi. Here what we discuss is based on the Gyan given by him. Ishwar Gyan can only be understood when we follow the Gyan given by another Ishwar avatar. Only other avatar can tell what one avatar was talking about. No human has the power and capability to do that. Okay? If Jnani says something that he is there too, it's Ishwar who is talking about. Nobody else can tell what Ishwar meant. After Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Sri Chakradhar is the only avatar who said that I am Parmeshwar avatar and my single addiction, Vyasan, is Jivodharan. I come here only to do Jivodhar. Nobody else has said that. This avatar exists even now, even today. His Gyan is the highest today. Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar said that there are two types of Ishwar Bhakt. So please follow so you can understand this. When Ishwar avatar is present, or Vyakt Ishwar is in Sansar, there are two types of people who do his bhakti. These people have performed certain karma in their past life to be there, which qualify them to be one of these two. So what is this karma which they have done in their past life? This karma was in which we fed somebody with no expectation. We don't even know who we are feeding. We just fed people food, give food. And with Shraddha, great reverence, not just, oh, I'm going to feed these people. No, with great Shraddha, with puja, worship them and do everything and feed them. If that person becomes contented, his devata, see, every one of us have our own devata who looks after us, who has given us the body. So his devata will give us human body. Now if we feed many such people, Not just one. We fed a lot of people. Not knowing any one of them. Just doing it as duty. And with lot of reverence, lot of shraddha. It's called Bhoot Bhajan. Along with the human body, we will also get Gyan in the next life. So that is how Gyan can be obtained. Okay? You can't pull it out of the air. You have to work for it. Endued with Ishwar Gyan, he then does the bhakti of Akshar, Avyakt, Anirdesh, Avyakt Paramatma. Once he gets the Gyan, then he knows who to worship, how to worship, and then he does the bhakti of the Avyakt Paramatma, who is not present in front of him. That's Akshar, Avyakt Parameshwar, as described in Shlok 3. Having completed this upasana during the entire life, he devotes all his life doing this. In the next life, the Vyakt Parameshwar reveals himself to this Jeev. Okay? So this is one type of Jeev who is gonna do bhakti of the Vyakt Paramatma. What he has done, he has fed lot of prani bhut, lot of humans, and not knowing any one of them, that did it as his duty. With this, he got human body and he earned the right to get Ishwar Gyan. And with that Gyan, in next life, when he gets that Gyan, he will do the bhakti for whole life again. And he is doing bhakti of a Vyakt, because even though the Ishwar is not Vyakt, not in front of him, with Gyan, through Gyan, he knows what Ishwar is and how to do his upasana. Knowing what Paramatma is very important. If you don't know what Ishwar is, how can you do his bhakti? For him, even though Ishwar is a Vyakt, it is Vyakt for him. Okay? Parameshwar then does his Uddhar when he appears in front of the Vyakt Parameshwar. So then Paramatma does his Uddhar through the Gyan Marg. He completes all his Gyan and gives him moksha. This is a Gyani Bhakt. Now we will take up the second Bhakt. Some Jeev who may have earned Ishwar Kripa while they are doing this bhakti of the Avyakt Parameshwar, they can earn Ishwar Kripa. Ishwar can be really pleased with their bhakti and they can earn Ishwar Kripa. Ishwar comes and accepts the food of this Jeev. While he's feeding a lot of people, he don't even know. If Ishwar Kripa is on him, Ishwar will accept his food himself. Nobody will even know. No one knows about it. In his next life then, the Vyakt Parameshwar reveals himself to this Jeev and gives him what Bhagwan Sri Chakradhar has called Prem. Even today, it is believed that in Maharashtra there are two places. One place where Dattatreya Bhagwan at lunchtime will come and for accepting the food. Who knows whose food was accepted there? Depending on the bhav of the parma of the Jeev, and depending on how much bhakti he has done, how much charya he has done. If Bhagwan is pleased, he will accept his food there. Second thing, Dattatreya Maharaj in Kolhapur goes for bhiksha every day. And he gets bhiksha from somebody, he earned the right for praying. It's happening all the time. And Bhagwan Sri Dattatreya Maharaj, His avatar is in all four yugas. So, this is called the Premi Bhakt. The Premi Bhakt does not survive in the absence of this Vyakt Paramatma. When Vyakt Parameshwar gives him the Prem, power of the Prem, he has to be with him all the time. He cannot leave. If Parameshwar leaves, he leaves his body and goes too. That is the true Prem, not this kind of Prem here. Okay, that's Ishwar Prem. So here in Shlok 2 to 5, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has described the Jnani Bhakt, and in the Shlok 6 to 8, he has described the Premi Bhakt. That makes it much more clearer as to what Bhagavan Krishna is saying here. So in Shlok 5, Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, in Shlok 5, he said that
क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते.
those who do this type of bhakti of the Avyakt Parameshwar experience many hurdles, many trouble. However, those who worship me, the Vyakt Parameshwar, when Bhagavan Sri Krishna says me, that means I am the one standing in front of you. Worship me, the Vyakt Parameshwar, Arjun, them I speedily deliver from the ocean of birth and death. Slok 7. Arjun, therefore, fix thy mind into me and place thy buddhi in me. There is no doubt that thou shalt abide in me, who is standing in front of thee. In other words, I shall take thee out of this sansar and place thee into me. The sadhana or the spiritual practice in the path of Gyan is very, very difficult. But why is it difficult? Because Gyan, in that sadhana, a person has got to control his senses, his mind. He's got to put his mind into Paramatma, who he doesn't even see. And he's got to put buddhi in him too. And so this becomes a very difficult task. However, Sri Bhagavan says, you must do it. So now he is telling us that it's very difficult. And then he says, you must do it. Okay. Some disciples of Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar, having heard the difficulties in the path of Gyan, started to cry, saying, how will we complete it? How will they be able to complete this charya? So they can get to Parameshwar. When Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar heard this, he told them that true, it is difficult, very difficult. But one who earns the Ishwar Kripa, he, the Ishwar, brings him along and helps to complete his sadhana. Okay? So it is difficult. But if you are doing with your heart and you are sincere in doing that, in your belief and everything, then Paramatma helps. Ishwar does kripa and he realizes you are sincere and you are trying to get there. So he helps. And that's how this charya is completed. Then Bhagavan told his disciples a story about a sword. Those days, sword was the arm which was used in fighting. We didn't have guns, and this is 800 years ago. So, only thing people used to fight with sword. Kings carry sword. All kings carried sword. Those days, sword repairmen used to go from village to village to see if someone needed their service. Just like they used to do with knife sharpening. So they used to go there. So one day a sword repairman comes to a village. Many people brought their weapons for sharpening. Those days, remember, no police service, nothing. It's all community affair. So we have to take ourselves back into that time to understand what was going on. One person brought an old sword and asked it to be sharpened. The vendor said that it is too old. If I try to sharpen it, it may break. It was so old, rusty. So I will buy it from you. At least you will get something for it. And if it breaks, then that's my problem. Then the vendor removed the handle from the sword. He got the sword, he paid him the money, and then he removed the handle from the sword and treated the metal part in many ways to clean it up without having it break. Thus, he brought out the original shine of this beautiful sword and put an edge on it. Then he installed that wooden handle on, original one. He took this beautiful sword to the king and presented it to him, because that sword was fit for a king only. The king liked it so much that he always kept it with him, never part with it. He gave a big reward to the repairman. Similarly, any Jeev who has earned Ishwar Kripa, Parmeshwar removes his faults. Remember we said the Kripa, he completes his Gyan Charya because it's so hard to do. So any Jeev who has earned Ishwar Kripa, Parmeshwar removes his faults, which is just like a rust on the sword. One at a time. Because you take out all of them, it may break, something happens. So they're like the sword repairman took layer by layer, slowly. Same way Parmeshwar takes our faults one by one, cleans us up. Without affecting the integrity of the Jeev, like the sword repairman did with the old sword. Thus Parmeshwar, the king, transforms this Jeev into his prince. He then keeps this Jeev with him. He doesn't part with him. Then Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar told his disciples not to worry. Just practice putting your mind into me. Bhagavan said, unfortunately, Jeev tend to look downwards always. Doesn't even want to look up. If someone looks up to me, what I do? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu sansara sagarat. Says, I lift them out of this ocean of birth and death. And how do I do this? Bhavami na chitrath partha maya veshita chetasam. Take them out immediately. Chir means time, na chirat. There is no time lost. I take them immediately from there, as soon as they look up to me, without any delay. So our duty is to keep looking towards Ishwar and ask for his kripa. That is what kripa is. People say kripa ho jayega, well, kripa will do everything. Here what we learn, what kripa does for us and how it happens. So, to summarize, Arjun asked that among the two bhakt, one who worships thee and the one who worships imperishable, the unmanifested, which of them are better worse in yoga. Sri Bhagavan said that the one who worship the imperishable, the unmanifest, for them to put their mind and buddhi into me takes a lot of effort. They go through many difficulties to achieve this. However, persistently looking to me and worshipping, they can earn my kripa. So Ishwar helps these jeev to put their mind and buddhi into him. Not to give it to him, but put their mind into him. On the other hand, those worship me, the manifested form of me, to them putting their mind and buddhi into him comes naturally. It's just like their nature. They don't know anything else. That's what they do. It's natural to them, swabhavik, naisargik. He need to not make any effort like the one who worship the imperishable, the unmanifested. The former is called the Jnani Bhakt and the latter is called the Premi Bhakt. So there are two bhakts. I take these jeeves, the Premi Bhakt, out of the ocean of birth and death without any delay. Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar has given us 14 means to earn the Prem Sadhana. If we are in the Gyan Marg, path of Gyan, we can do one of those, for even one of those 14, we can become Premi Bhakt. Through which we who are worshipping the imperishable, unmanifest form in his absence can get Ishwar Prem. So in next several shloks, Bhagavan Krishna tells that this path, which is difficult, is also doable, and how it can be easily followed. So we will continue that later on in next time. However, there is something which I want to point out. Bhagavan Krishna only talked about two kind of bhakt and said that one has to face many difficulties and troubles. And I speedily take out the other from the ocean of mortal sansar, who is Premi Bhakt. But Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar called the one the Jnani Bhakt and other Premi Bhakt. See, Bhagavan Krishna didn't say that. This Prem Sadhan is given by Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar. He further explained that although there are difficulties in the path of Jnana, the one who remains steadfast on this path, Ishwar Kripa helps him to complete his endeavor. He also told us what we can do in order that we can get the Parmeshwar sadhana or Prem sadhan to Ishwar. This way, Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar made it easy for us to attain Ishwar. With Gita Gyan, it's different. With Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar, he made it easier for us by giving other 14 ways to do that. It is natural to wonder, why did Bhagavan Krishna say to put your mind and buddhi in me? We'll wonder why he said, put it in me. Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar explained this. He explained that when first time the Srishti was created, very first time, in the very beginning, it was the thought of Jeev which was instrumental in it. Jeev was given man, buddhi in the very beginning, and with that man and buddhi, thoughts started to come. So remember, the karma starts with manasa. So mind starts everything. It was thought of Jeev which was instrumental. It also is cause of rebirth. Right? With our thought, we get into different karma. And with that karma, we get into fruit of that action. We have to take another birth to experience it. It also is cause of rebirth. So when we give our mind and buddhi to Ishwar, okay, instead of using for our own, say, my mind, this is what I think, but if we give it to Ishwar, there is no karma to cause the rebirth. Make sense? So in the next several shlokas, Bhagavan Krishna tells that this path which is difficult is doable, and how he will go into detail step by step. It can easily be followed, and we will continue in the next time because the whole subject matter is now changing. So now we know what these two bhakts are, we know how these things happen. We can then go into the next part of this whole chapter. Sri Krishna.